Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 31 of the Greatest Attorney Adventures. Last time, we explored around Sherlock Holmes' apartment, and we talked to Iris, who proved to have better deduction skills than Holmes, despite being 10 years old. But then again, she's also a doctor, so basically she beat Franziska to stable employment by 3 years. Franziska becomes a prosecutor at 13. She's so proud of this accomplishment. And they get little Iris at the age of 10, basically boasting her PhD and her successful series of books that even Susato reads. And now we're going to the crime scene to basically bribe to bribe a man. We're using Iris's bribes. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? Actually, can we investigate it? Yeah, what's her description say? A short-haired young girl who lives with Mr. Sholmes. She has a degree in medicine, and she's the author of a popular series of short stories. Okay, let's go in and check this out. Yeah, Iris has her hearts. Iris's little handwriting is adorable, isn't it? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust he won't be a problem. Yeah, I trust that won't be a problem. All the more threatening. Yes, the handwriting might be adorable, but the message is ominous. There's no room for sentiment there. If you don't let him tell him whatever he wants to know, I'll break your kneecaps in with my baseball bat. I'm sure it's simply the way you're interpreting it, Mr. Murillo. Anyways, I do hope the inspector will tell us what we need to know when he reads it. Yes, I could just imagine Christoph would go, where basically, you know how Clavier, he went overseas to Germany to study prosecution? Well, I can imagine Christoph going to London for a few summers. Basically, I can imagine Iris being essentially one of those people where she lives to be over 100. She's one of those 110-year-old people who's spry and can pretty much just and who's pretty much unaffected by age. And here she is, Christoph goes over to her apartment in London, and basically she makes him tea, teaches him about deductions, and basically would teach him and the art of coercive letter writing. Next off, Chrissy, you need to have a poison step. You don't think it'll just make him munch piping hot chips until steam comes out of his ears, do you? Well, that wouldn't be an entirely terrible outcome. Okay, let's see what else this letter offers. The coin. This is a 5-shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown. Yes, and you can train a Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want with just a single one. Iris must be the most powerful 10-year-old in the world. Yeah, well, this world. Meanwhile, in the Danganronpa universe, there are 10-year-olds who can pretty much level the world. There are 10-year-olds who are helping to kickstart apocalypses and genocides. How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What is it really worth? Well, it's probably enough to buy all the chips that the inspector could possibly eat a whole month. That's greasy. I'm sorry to say, I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here at once. Go on, hand it over. That's for me. Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver grand, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee. That's what it is. It's also a mark that means that if I don't do what she asks, I'm dead. You know that Reaper of the Bailey crap that Lord Baroque is associated with? Well, that's child's play compared to what Iris is capable of. She'll rain death from above you in the form of fire. She'll rain fire from the sky and you will die. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right, for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course. Her using my name without my say-so does make me a butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector. This must be very difficult for you. Never mind that. So, what do you want to know then? Sorry? Ask the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Oh, did he a knife-wielding, mustachioed Japanese fellow? I lives in the right old hovel. It's just over there, look. On the first floor of that house, on the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Garrieb. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give our ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Seriously, I love how Iris has the police on her payroll. Well, at least he told us what he wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely! Let's move. New location been added. We still haven't been here yet. I wonder what awaits us. Yeah, I'm just looking at basically Susato's observations. The lodgings. 19th of February, Mr. Natsume's lodgings. May I help you? Ah, yes, that would be would this be the residence of Mr. John Garrideb? Indeed it would, sir. And who might I say is calling? My name is Ryonosuke Naruto. Mr. Naruto is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodging here. We'd very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message of Mr. Garrideb. Did you see that, Mr. Suzato? Did you see that, Mr. Suzato? That was a real-life English maid! I know, I understand that anyone upstanding in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day just keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garrideb will now see you. This way. I brought in his chair. I dragged it from across the room. I can just imagine the maid she's pushing that chair. She's just pushing it while he's just sitting limply in it. Examine. You know that's my way. Examine the books. I noticed you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrideb. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book. Oh, there's a copy of Rand's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, too. The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. The cannon. That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing here? Oh, my. It's real. I thought it might be a replica. That whole thing? Pah, that's a little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful having a cannon in about the house. Really, it isn't overkill. Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy. Did you think there might be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrideb? Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there. Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. Okay, what's next? Army uniform. That uniform looks very ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing? Ha! That much better than rags, really. Oh? Why that ceremonial garb in my retirement bash, you know? But I'm not one for dwelling in the past. To me, would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyways, doesn't doubt the old piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Medals and pictures. That looks like a medal of honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me that it's not straight. What? That old thing? Sorry. I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's been the best place for it. Keeps the bally thing out of my way. So it's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose. There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look, let me see. It says, "For distinguished participation." Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for. He was present. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in the military circle. Picture. That portrait of Mr. Geradev is glaring at me, I swear. How do you notice that all the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Geradev as well? Well, this is his house. Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Ah, yes. Seemed to come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seemed to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went to sell him something and came out with that thing. In fact, now I think about it, I'd rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need. The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements. Susato-san doesn't pull her punches, or her throws for that matter. The curtain. Look at that enormous screen! It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seemed like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm gonna have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Ahem, ahem. Maybe I'll not. Maybe let's not, Miss Susato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Ahem, ahem. Table. Oh, look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand. Lined up, it looks more like someone has half demolished them to me. Afternoon tea is a life of indulgence, you know. It is quite the English way. It is Mr. Garadev's custom to eat 2 cakes with his tea. That's delightful. Oh, wait a minute, though. There is at least 10 cakes on this cake stand. Well, naturally, and it would never do to waste the leftovers. So whatever Mr. Geradev does eat, I say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up. How magnanimous of you. I can't pronounce words. I'm sorry. The candelabra. This old candle that looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. It's clearly supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason. That old thing? Yes, it's a cheap piece of ironmongery. Gimcrack, really. Oh. Used to use it when I was studying, don't you know? For my commission. I know it's old, hardly worth hanging on to, really, but, well, still has its uses sometimes. Of course! Does everything in this room have some elaborate story behind it? They're memories, Mr. Naruto. Memories! Broken teapot? Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Is it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces! It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do Chinaware justice. Ah, I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it. Yes, probably something like that. But let's not delve too deeply here. Okay, anything about the clothes? Anything about the windows? This window looks out over Briar Road, where the young woman was attacked. Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly. Does this thing open at all, I wonder? I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of a London winter, sir. Sorry? As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No London would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. It seems very unlikely that these two would have seen anything on the incident then. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? We checked that. We checked that. Okay, we didn't check this. Good day to you. John Karev at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruto. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot in the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maywand. Don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from the service, handed over the reins to the up-and-coming. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and down stairs now, I tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruto. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a bordereau, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly display it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let those good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Ah! Dash it, woman! Be careful! I may want to have kids one of these days! How dare me! I do beg your pardon, sir! You jolly need to take the skin off my hands! And the skin and the feeling from my crotch! I should be more careful, sir! So anyways, there you have it! Living the quiet life now! Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only too pleased, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, it is? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all the detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of the Rance magazine here, so... No, Anyways, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance, is what it is. The whole neighborhood's switching its curtains now. I don't like this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garadeb. Please do tell us. Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodged here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then. I had 2 lodgers most of the time. One on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor became available a week ago, you see. There had been... Ah! Dash it, old Joan! Do be careful! Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh, why? Did you not meet him, Susato? He seemed to have the most nervous disposition, always shaking, looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written all over his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm really wrong about that sort of thing. We won't be calling this May as a witness, that's for sure. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes, oh yes, indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. The shady lodger. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes, that man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books, is it? More than anyone could ever read. And he never so just passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just tots off that old bookshop every day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the fine little man is up long past the time everyone in the house goes to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. So he's me on the weekends. Ah. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh! I'd understood that neither of the lodges live on this floor of the house. Is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor and street level. Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed. Ah! Good grief, Joan! Be more careful, woman! Oh my goodness, sir! I'm terribly sorry, sir! Something doesn't add up here. The incident 2 days ago. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window around that time? The window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street, correct? Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Guradev household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour, and with the fog as well, I think it would have been quite impossible for to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Okay, sorry. Such as? Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well, yes. Was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of around that time. Ah! For the love of God, Joan! Watch what you're doing! Oh, Jeremy, what have I done? I'm absolutely sorry, sir. Do be more careful, woman. Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, as far as I can remember. Nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garadev? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been... Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing's all... Ah! Joan, dash it all! What's the matter with you, woman? Thank you, Martin, sir. Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Garadev. What is the matter with these two? It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what? I wish I knew. Mr. Natsume's room. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly, just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak? Yes, Tommy, not his name, had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we had a look around in Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us in this case. But we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Okay, we've talked to them and we can now move on. Let's go and go to the floor below. A new location been added, Mr. Natsume's room. We still haven't been here yet. I wonder what awaits us. "19th of February, Mr. Natsume's room." What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. Oh, it probably has that moldy smell that old libraries have. You know, that overpowering mildew smell? I suppose it's the amount of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all of my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garadeb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Okay, we'll do a quick scan of the room, and then we'll move out. Okay. Nothing there. Cat statue. Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home! It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Manakai Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruto, considering that you were essentially luggage. Are you forgetting that enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? What luggage? Wasn't Naruto himself the luggage? So how did Naruto get that in? Well, did Kazuma just bring that with him? Did the Daruma doll get better treatment on the ship than Naruto? I think it got better treatment on the ship than Naruto. Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. Oh yeah, that's really working for him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Okay, books. Look at all those books stacked up there. They're almost reaching the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they also so musty. With this volume of books on hand, you'd never be sure of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the books that's at the bottom of the pile will now ever be read again. Ah, so reading is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of the tea ceremony philosophy. Okay, anything? Let's check the floor. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. These are notes. There are notes scrawled all over them in English. It looks like the waste paper basket is so full, they're just falling out. I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? Or deeply adverse to tying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I am afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on a fit of whimsy. That's alarmingly feasible. Anyways, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive, and oh, my gas is bothering me. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Okay, anything else? I'm gonna save the cat for... Okay, I'll do the cat now. Oh my! What an adorable little cat! Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away. But I don't see a litter box in here. So where's the cat going to the bathroom? That's the question. That's the $1 million question. Where's that cat using the bathroom? Oh, the smell of cat piss and mold. Oh, that would be a horrible smell. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. Does he do it in the books? It was a tricolored Mikey, wasn't that? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That made me feel homesick now. Alright, we've only been in the country for 2 days. Yeah, but you've been out at sea for quite some time. Why even put this here if we have nothing to investigate? Anyways, I think now would be a good time to end things off. I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. Oh, one more. Oh, pen. What's this? That desk can be wedged into a crevice between the mounds of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh, yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look. And the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45. That's the day of the incident. That's just the sort of... that's just short a while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. The second-hand book receipt has been added. Good thing we didn't end it off. Okay, now we can end things off. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever it is that you want. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.